So your snowman kit comes with a glued together snowman that's a little wobbly, a felting needle, and a little piece of cardboard. This one I have in a handle because I have a handle and this is the one I'm using, but it'll be in a little cardboard sleeve to protect the needle and to protect you. Then we have a brown roving for the arms, which I've lost. Two little pipe cleaner arms that have already been folded over and are ready to be rolled in wool. The colorful stuff for buttons and the scarf. A little bit of fleece to help with the facial features and whatnot. Roving to secure the body parts together better. And a little bit of lighter roving to put with the scarf if you so wish. And some orange for the, you actually don't need that much, for the nose. So you only need a tiny bit of the orange. You can use the orange as accent somewhere else if you want to. All right, and then I have a felting pad here that I have made. I'm covering it with a piece of fabric and I'm just going to felt directly on this. You can make a pillow out of rice. Just make a rice pillow and use that as your felting surface. You don't need the felting surface for a whole lot with this particular project. All right, so let's get started securing the little body parts together. So you need a small amount of fairly thin roving and you're going to wrap it around the body of your snowman. Just enough to give you a good secure spot, and then you're going to squish together and felt from the smaller middle body part down to the bigger through the roving you just put there. And be careful because every time you hit the glue it will dull your needle a little bit. So lots of little stabs. And you can see that's already starting to get more secure there. So we're going to turn it and do a little bit more. You don't really want this roving to show all that much. You can also go up into the body a little bit with the roving you wrapped around. But I'm going to go down mostly because I want to really secure these two together. That's much more secure. Now let's secure the head. Again, squishing everything together. Little stabs. Tuck any wispy bits underneath. Okay, you're going to put a scarf around the neck, so it's not too critical to get that super secure. There's a little bit of veg matter in that roving. Now is an excellent time to get the bottom of your snowman flat so he'll stand up properly. So you turn him upside down and just stab away at the bottom. You can do this at the end when you're all done as well. I am stabbing, you can see the length of the needle, I am stabbing all the way down to make this base as secure and stable and firm as I can, so your snowman will stand up. Now, he's sitting on a rounded surface here, so my leg is not flat. But this gives you an idea. You just keep getting the parts that are too floofy. Yeah, I've got him balanced on my leg. So anyway, next I like to do the nose, which is where you need a little bit of a felting pad. I usually make 2 noses at the same time because it's easier, but you can do 1 at a time and just cut off the excess. So you just take a little bit of the roving, or the bat rather, and you roll it up. You can use your needle to help fold it and roll it. And then you start stabbing. Little stabs because this is a little tiny thing. You want to turn it and felt it from another angle. And you just keep doing this until it's quite firm. And if it's not thin enough, then you just, make another one because that one is too big. So let's try this one. I'm going to fold over the one wispy end and just kind of tap away. You have enough of the orange fiber included to make a couple of attempts at the nose. It's got to be a carrot, It's got to be kind of pointy. Do very tiny stabs down at the point. You can hear the needle going through the shirt. That's what the little piece of fabric, that's what the popping noise is, if you can hear it. And go ahead and shape the fatter part of your carrot. You don't want your carrot floppy, but you also don't need it to be 100% perfect, and you can shape it however you want. So there's my carrot, and now I'm going to decide where I want his nose. I want it right here, so I'm going to stab a little hollow. And then I'm going to stick the nose right there where that hollow is. I'm going to grab it with the needle and I'm going to shove it. I'm going to try to shove it. It's easier if you lay it sideways at first. Poke it down in there. Ow. Careful, you'll poke through the head. And then poke through from another side. And keep doing this until your carrot is as far in as you want it to be. Okay. Now you are done with the carrot, so you can put You can get little teeny tiny bits of this black wool, tiny wisps, roll them up. I'm going to do a couple of those. The tiniest little bits of wool. You know, traditionally, bits of coal were used for the mouth. So we're going to get our little bits of coal here. I like to start somewhere around the center. And we're going to curve just a little bit. Well, I'm curving the wrong direction there. I might have to put one more piece on here, or this might be enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now we need eyeballs. So I think that I want a little bit of this color for the eyes. Ooh, that's going in the wrong spot. Let's move it a little bit closer. You can put colored wool in here. I just don't want red eyes, so I'm not going to put red on this one. But I might put a little bit of dark brown. Because I don't like how that wasn't really showing. There we go. Now we need to add some buttons. Since this gentleman is going to be decorated in red, stick red buttons on him. I like to do about 3 for the torso, sometimes 4, kind of depends on what mood I'm in and how big the buttons are and how close together I'm putting them. So you do you. Okay. And then we go down to the body and we do a couple more, trying to stay sort of in line. Come on, get in there. Got to stab shallow at first until it grabs the wool underneath. You do as many buttons as you want. That works quite well for me. Now before we do the scarf, I like to do the arms. So we're going to set Mr. Snowman aside and we're going to grab his arms. I'm going to split this skinnier. Now this is part of a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to start rolling the roving around the pipe cleaner. And we're going to try to completely cover it so you can't see the red or whatever color your pipe cleaner happens to be. Okay, once you get it wrapped up. May need a little bit more wool in a couple of places that didn't get covered very well. Then you're going to try to go around the pipe cleaner with your needle. It's kind of difficult to do, so be very patient with this part and fairly gentle. Little stabs as you turn your arm. I have found that helps quite a lot. There is a little bit of red poking through here, but I think that's going to be okay. If not, I will add some more wool to that in a little bit. He's bending. You get down to the end, you might have to add a little bit more wool to cover up the hand portion or the shoulder portion or whichever. Now I kind of like how that gets skinnier down towards the end, so I'm going to call that one done. We are now ready to put our arms on our snowman, so we're going to look and see where we want our shoulders to be. Make sure we've got the end we want to go against the snowman. And we're going to take some of this wool and we're going to felt it, and if you need to add just a teeny tiny bit more either white or brown wool to cover up any pipe cleaner, you can do so. This one's being stubborn and doesn't want to stay covered. There we go. And now you can shape the arm how you want it and then felt your elbow in place. Now let's do the other one. He's crooked, but he's got personality, and that's what matters. And now I am going to take a bit of the gray and a bit of the red. Set Mr. Snowman aside for a moment. We're working on his scarf. So I like to roll the two colors together, twist them together, and then wrap it around his neck. And once I'm happy with the positioning and the colors, then I will begin to felt lightly around the neck. Make sure to get right over that arm where it's crisscrossed. And then at this point, I like to take the end of the scarf and just kind of fold it over and felt it down wherever I want it. And I'm not felting heavily. I want the scarf to have some texture to it. And then I need to figure out where I want the other piece. I think I want it to go under his arm there. So I have not felted the front, from the elbow out. I have not felted that in place. I'm going to leave it where it is, but I do want the scarf kind of felted in place. Little bitty pokes. And there we have a mostly complete snowman. So now it's time to make his hat. And if you have leftover, here it is, leftover wool like this, you can use some of this. I definitely want a black hat for this guy. So I'm actually going to use some leftover of the roving that we haven't used up yet. Always set your needle down when you're doing stuff like this. And we're just going to make a short tube. Not really a tube, but so we don't want to use all of it. Now we're going to need our felting mat. Let's felt the top of it. You're not going to felt the bottom portion of it. This is part of the top hat. Okay, I am actually going to shorten this hat a bit from the bottom, but I'm trying to leave a good bit that is not thoroughly felted. Let me go down some more from the top. That's going to make a very nice top hat. Now let's do the skirt of it. So you take your roving, I made it a little bit skinnier and longer, and now we're going to roll it up into a flat circle. And we're just going to felt it flat. Shape it how you want it. You want it bigger around than your little top hat. Of course, you can make your top hat skinnier if you have to. Going around the edge, making sure it's nice and firm. Now it's time to turn your little hat over, your little skirt of the hat. Now, I wanted a darker hat, so I'm going to take some of this wool, since we have plenty, and I'm going to lay it on top and felt it in place. So now we are going to center our top portion of our hat on the skirt part, and then we are going to felt it in place. I need to move that out of my way. Now the skirt is bigger than I wanted, so now I'm going around the edges and making it a little bit smaller. And because this, I didn't have enough wool in hand for this, I'm going to go grab some more. You will have enough in your kit. You won't have to worry about that. Actually, you can take then your decorative part. I'm just going to leave this one as is. And you can wrap decorative border here as thick or as thin as you want it, and tack that down in place. I am going to have to get just a little bit more brown. But I will do that in a minute. So then you're going to set your hat down on the snowman's head, and I usually do the colorful decorative ribbon part last. So now I'm trying to go in from behind it, behind the red. I'm trying to stay in camera here. This is shortening the top hat a little bit. Ow. I went all the way through the head and stabbed my finger. You want to really secure this to your snowman. Okay. And you can go around and get the skirt portion of the hat felted onto the head a little bit. Sort of clean up the shape. There's our happy, dapper little snowman. All done. Now, if you need to go back and make sure the bottom is nice and flat, so it stands upright, you can do that. But our snowman is done. Oops, his nose got bent. I hope you enjoyed this little snowman felting tutorial.